Okay, sometimes in a reaction, elements will gain or lose electrons. So oxidation is the process that something loses an electron, and reduction is the process by which an atom gains an electron. So a way that you can remember that is Leo the lion says grr. Leo says grr. So this is loss of electrons equals oxidation. And gain of electrons equals reduction. So if something gains electrons, they are reduced. Does that make sense? Electrons are negatively charged. So when I get a negative charge, I'm reduced. And when I get something that's negative, I'm reduced. So a loss of electrons, that means I'm giving away a negative. I get more positive. So when you're oxidized, you get more positive. When you are reduced, you get more negative. Okay, so let's do example 16.3. It says a sulfur atom goes from -2 to +6. So it was at -2 and it went to -6. How do I go from -2 to +6? I have to gain 2 electrons, or 2, I have to get a +2 and then get another +6. So when I'm getting positive numbers, I have to be getting rid of electrons because electrons are negative. So if I'm getting rid of electrons, I'm losing electrons. That means I'm oxidized. So the question says, has this been oxidized or reduced? Well, if I am getting rid of my electrons or I'm getting more positive, I am oxidized. And then it says how many electrons participated in this change. Well, I had to add 2 to get to 0 and then add another 6 to get to +6. So I would have lost 8 electrons. So I would say I'm oxidized and it took 8 electrons. How about a carbon atom goes from -2 to -4. So how do I go from a negative to more negative? That means I had to gain 2 more electrons. I had to get more negative. So gain of electrons is reduction. So I would say I'm reduced. And how many electrons participated in it? It would be I went from -2 to -4, so that -2 was my change. So I would have 2 electrons participating in the change. So I say I'm reduced and 2 electrons participated. An atom goes from +5, was +5, and goes to +3. Now, how do you go from +5 to +3? Well, I have to subtract 2. So that means I gained 2 electrons. When I have to subtract 2, I gained 2 electrons again, so that's reduction, and 2 electrons participated. So you're going to say reduced, 2 electrons participated. If I go from -6 to -1, I got more positive, which means I lost some electrons. And how many electrons did I lose? I would have to add 5 to go from -6 to -1. So that means 5 electrons were lost. So I got oxidized and 5 participated in the change. So make sure you can see, understand, get your pluses and minuses straight in your head. When you gain electrons, you get more negative. When you lose electrons, you get more positive. But you can still be negative. If you were really negative, and you still negative, but you lost some electrons, you still might be oxidized, but it just depends on how many electrons are participating in the transfer. Okay.